Hey Tanaya, welcome to Just Like That.
Hey Sahil, how are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. You're glowing like always.
Oh, really? Thank you very much. And so are you.
But you're the CHRO of the year. Congratulations.
And celebrations, Sahil.
So one more award. घर में जगह बची है awards रखने के लिए या अभी एक और घर खरीद रहे हो awards रखने के लिए?
Well, सोच रही हूँ दूसरा घर खरीदूं, but it's okay. We'll make some space somewhere. That's absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. But वैसे तुम, you have also been collecting a lot of awards yourself, Sahil. Where do
नहीं
you
नहीं
keep
बिल्कुल
them?
नहीं. मेरे को तो award से नफरत है.
अरे नफरत होने से क्या है? It's about what you get and what recognition that the society and the fraternity gives you, right?
नहीं वो सब बात ठीक है. Like for example, at the SHRM conference that happened recently, obviously it was a great competitive event and all of that, and I came first on the leaderboard, which is fine. But जो बाकी HR awards हैं, what's your take on that, Tanaya?
Look, some I think are well deserved, and one feels very good. I have a coachee who's really wanting to prep for these awards. So we actually went and said, what are these awards? What is the source? What kind of documentation? What kind of assessment tests do they have? So some I think is very good because, but some I don't think are all that nice. So it depends.
Yeah, but actually, if you look at Amir Khan's view on the Bollywood part of it, and we'll come to HR in a bit, and there is a certain section of our fraternity also that doesn't really believe in it, right? Because as you said, there are so many awards that can be bought.
Well, to each his own. So one size doesn't fit all, and so if that's your opinion, and my opinion is, well, I got the NHRD and Young Leader Award way back in 2018. I think it was a very, very well deserved award. And I think I really enjoyed getting that award. I was part of the SHRM item writers who went, and there was an award of sorts. So it depends. So, and it's fine. It's a free world.
No, I completely agree. It's a free world. Some have their credibility, some don't. But I think so. At the end of the day, going around flaunting something which, people can say, oh, you know what, I know how this works, or I know how do you get this award. क्या credibility क्या बच जाती है?
Well, if you have it flaunted, that's how it's said. So, आजकल तो digital का ज़माना है. I mean, you see everybody out there. I mean, what is it all about? Any which ways, it's all about show. Saying that, hey, look at me. So if you can do that with writing blogs on LinkedIn or digital posts, and it's or gig for that matter, it's the same with awards. So it depends. If it's like a Filmfare award, it is. If it's an Oscar award, so it is. If it's an HR award, so it is. So it depends on what kind of award, who's receiving it, what is the credibility of the person. So because somewhere in the fraternity, who's good and who's not so good. So
yeah, and that's very important. I really like the point that you just made to say credibility is well known, be it the award or be it the person receiving the award, right?
correct.
Many times people really look up at a list of saying top 50, top 100, most influential people, social media champions. And I think so we're all there, right? But in that entire space, if you sit back and ask, does this person really do anything on any of these social media channels, or even if he or she does, again, it's nothing to do with jealousy, but it's just more to do with wonder to say, is there nepotism of some kind? Or is there a clan? Or is there a cartel?
Look, it's difficult to say, and you can say that with any awards. You can say that with Oscars, you can say that with Filmfare, you can say that with HR. So some amount of.
But there's a difference, Tanaya. There's a difference. There you have a jury. The jury is, you have an audience award. You have people who are voting. Here, I think so. Is it a coterie? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, I wouldn't know either. I'm on the same boat as you are. It actually depends on as I said, who is getting the award. The minute you say, okay, A, B, C, you said, wow, great work. But see that there are two sides to this. Either people have to stop accepting, and you have a value system which says, well, I don't think I deserve it, so therefore I'm giving it up. People have done it in the past. I have done it a couple of times. And then there are people who feel good about it, and then there might be a couple, but so be it. So there's so different strokes for different folks, as they say.
So are we trying to say that the people who are really making noise about these so-called HR awards are the ones who are aspirational but don't end up getting there and therefore make the noise?
See, it's not right to paint everybody with the same brush, Sahil. So because yes, there are people like that. There are people who genuinely believe. For instance, I would say, Sahil, yourself. We just saw the ET awards. I'm not so sure why you're not there, right? Because I've seen you on putting up blogs and HR bites and stuff like that. So when I saw it, I was wondering why Sahil is not there. Where there's a lot of other people who, well, with due respect, are not even able to, say things digitally which are savvy, but they're there. So it matters. It doesn't, so it's a perspective. So it's my opinion, and I thought I would have seen you there. So, but if it doesn't change my impression about you, because I respect what you write. I look forward to reading what you write. For instance, there's Adil or there is NS, who keep putting up things, or for that matter, our friend Prabir, right? So these are people that you see them all the time doing writing stuff. So when you don't see them on the list, you start wondering, well, is this something which is evaluated the way it should be? But that's my opinion, and that's fine.
No, completely. We're all discussing personal opinions here. We're not really standing for any kind of other views. It's very, very personal to you and me. But Tanaya, what's this whole thing about being in the chair? Many people who hold positions of power end up coming onto these lists. And as they step aside or as they fade away or as they move on the entrepreneurship journey, you realize that suddenly they are not as relevant as they were when they were holding a position of power or working with a large multinational. That's weird, right? Because a person who gives up a position doesn't overnight lose intellect or lose gravitas or lose credence. But that's the way we really look at it.
Okay, the way I look at it, Sahil, is I call it the power of the visiting card, right? So I've
Say it again, the power of?
The visiting card.
Oh, the power of the visiting card.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So the power of the visiting card is that if you have a visiting card, it opens doors for you. The minute the visiting card goes away and you're part of not an organization, but you're on your own, then there'll be a young Turk who will come look you up and say, well, I sorry, don't have the time, and you have a perspective. So when you are on a consulting journey or you are on a journey of your own, it's very different from being in a position, and it's called kissa kursi ka, you see. So, and that's the honest truth. I've been on both sides. When I decided to quit the Accenture, I remember there was this particular gentleman, a very reputed institution, called me up and said, will you chair this? And I said, hey, but by the way, I'm no more Managing Director, Asia Pacific, Accenture. I said, oh, let me get back to you. So it happens. You got to accept it with a pinch of salt. That's fine. But at the same time, being the CHRO and being wearing a hat, a consulting hat, is very different, right? And the two don't really, they're so different. And the skill sets that you have yesterday are passé today, because they're not what is required, because you can't come across there and say, well, I've been a CHRO of a multinational or of a very large Indian reputational company, and say that, well, so that changes. So some people have really done very well for themselves. Maybe they were not great professionals, but they're great entrepreneurs. And vice versa. So when you go back, a lot of people have gone on to becoming CHROs, gone on an entrepreneurial journey, and have come back because maybe they didn't do very well as entrepreneurs. So it's not right to paint any kind of picture, sir.
No, absolutely. I think that's a great perspective. But also looking at this, Tanaya, a lot of people on LinkedIn keep latching onto their past. they say X so-and-so company or X so-and-so company or X position at X company. What's the whole deal with staying in the past and not being in the present? Does it still add to the weight?
Well, it is definitely, it gets a foot in the door, if that's the right expression to use. Because if you've been there, which means that you have credibility, you have been in a large organization, you have proved yourself, so it opens the door for you. But that's all that it does. After that, it's how you perform, what you do, how you sell the business proposal, what is your uh, value proposition. So it's a whole different deal altogether.
Got it. So Tanaya, as we really come to an end to this segment on a conversation just like that, let me ask you, let's look into the future a bit. We have so many various bodies that run HR awards, right? And let's say, Tanaya, you've been entrusted with the responsibility of consolidating all of this, right? And having one HR award, which is absolutely transparent, credible, and with no bias or minimal amount of bias. How will you create the framework for that? Because I think that is going to be something that we all would look forward to, because otherwise today, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is starting some award, be it for a certain age group, be it for a certain segment, for a certain population, a certain geography, so on and so forth. So let's hypothetically assume, Tanaya, you've been gifted with the responsibility of consolidating all the awards in our country. Extremely transparent process, which any person in the world can come and challenge. And through an automated manner, responses come out of the manner in which the scoring was done, the manner in which criteria were evaluated, the element of subjectivity put out, so on and so forth. Any thoughts on that, Tanaya?
Absolutely. So the first thing that I would do is I would first get a jury, because I don't think that, and a jury which is credible, criteria which is transparent. So for each award, there would be a jury, and they would have the authority where they would decide the criteria for each of those awards and say, okay, if this is the best CHR award, what are the criteria? Or if this is the best L&OD, or best compensation. So, have the transparency and build that transparency, and then have a series of tests, if I may, just so that there is a criteria, and it's not something which is free for all. You have to have a kind of a certain quality and a certain standard to even enter there. Okay. And once you do, I would actually video record those practices so that it's transparent and it can be played back as to why you do. It's like an examination, right? So when you want to have your answer sheet back or evaluated, you have this answer sheet which you can open up and say, okay, this is what this person said, and therefore this is what is this. Yes, there can still be some biases, but at least it's out there, it's transparent, and I would definitely, it's a digital world, so I would definitely put it online so people can actually see it, learn from it. See, I think an award is just not an award. It's about for the fraternity, understanding what are those practices out there, what is the learning. It's not like, if I'm having a great practice, that I keep it to myself, close to my chest. It's about learning. It's about giving back.
And sharing. You
Yes.
share and everyone learn. Absolutely. Yeah. Correct. And I think what you said is very nice, because Tanaya, what you're really saying is a lot of people who run these awards get various organizations to come and really audit their entire process so that it gets the gravitas that it needs. But I think the biggest auditors will be the fraternity at large. So maybe if you can put all of this on a digital platform and let people send in their feedback, comments, suggestions, agreements, disagreements, and then wherever you believe it's valid or not valid, you have a response going back. And as you rightly said, in the process of sharing best practices or people who won these awards, there is so much of learning. There's a huge database of learning that gets created for other aspiring professionals, and even for others who are not aspiring but want to do good work, or maybe connect and pick up the phone with someone who's done something well and got an award for it.
Agree. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Tanaya, thank you so much. Just an off-the-cuff conversation, a Sunday evening. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting up with you.
Thank you for inviting me to just like that. Bye-bye.
Bye.